The Central Bank of Kenya is raising concern over the interest rate cap of 2016, which it says has strangled the economy and how small-medium enterprises do business. While speaking during a press conference, the Central Bank Governor Dr. Njoroge also said that the inflation rate is set to rise, but will remain within the target. Well, our reporter Abubakar Abdullah is on that bit and joins us now from our city center studios. Abubakar, just give us the lowdown in relation to what should the citizens now know when it comes to cost of credit and the stability of the economy.
Well, good afternoon, Abby. In a lengthy press briefing, which ended minutes away, by the way, the governor of the Central Bank of Kenya touched on the panoply of issues that are touching on the country's economy. Top on the agenda to him was inflation, which, according to what he said, had a double test. One, in a sense that food prices are down. The inflation on food prices is down low since 2002, which means the lowest it has been since 2002. But also, he signaled to an increase in the 8% value-added tax on fuel, which has increased inflation. The September numbers are yet to be out, but the Central Bank of Kenya is signaling to an increase in inflation by 1%. That 1% is directly out of the 8% of value-added tax. Now, the Central Bank of Kenya divided this further. It says 0.4% of this 1% will come from direct consequences out of the increase in the prices of fuel. 0.6% will also come from an indirect, meaning the prices of other commodities will be up, since this will have a direct effect on the purchasing power when it comes to the economy. So the increase in 8% will have 1% increase in inflation. The September numbers are yet to be out, but the Central Bank of Kenya says this will have an effect. Of course, also attached to the increase in the prices of fuel also is the question of fuel prices across the globe. You will understand that regionally and globally, fuel prices have been up because of the push and pull between America, of course, and Iran and other nations, and hence the prices of fuel being up. He also talked about the interest cap rate, and this to him elicited much reaction, because you'll remember in 2016, the interest rate came into effect, which allowed an increment of only 4% past the 9.5%, which was set by the central bank, meaning any individual bank that was rating their interest will have to pay about that 4%. This also summing up that the increment to the farthest of extents, to the extremes, will have been of 4%, which plus 9, it totals up to 13. He says this has affected how, of course, business is done in the country and the economy at large, because you will understand also that lenders are now shifting their gears, lending it more to the government because of the security within the money that they're lending, rather than lending to individuals and of course, what they consider as high-risk entrepreneurs. The foreign exchange rate was also a question of the 2-hour lengthy press conference. He says that the country's reserves are stable for the next 4 months. Of course, this coming after the IMF, of course, withdrew the dollar cover that the shilling had, which elicited also reaction in the financial markets, and the financial analysts saying that the shillings is not covered. Now it's half dry, in fact, to use the terminologies that they have been using. So this, he says, will have an effect. Of course, he did not signal out, he played down as to whether the Central Bank of Kenya will have another negotiated agreement with the International Monetary Fund, IMF, in regards to the security it had and the dollar cover that the shilling had. But of interest, Abby, was the question of what this will have now on the general economy. He says inflation for September, even though the numbers are not yet out, he hinted that they will be up, of course, by the prices of fuel, but he says that is within the target. Another point that he noted was of the remittance. He says remittance, of course, this is cash from Kenyans who are working abroad, is up by 41%. To him and the central bank at large, they say this signals out in two things. Either that Kenyans who are working abroad and in other countries are having confidence within the country's economy, or even the investment, the home investments, is also having a direct effect, hence attracting more Kenyans who live outside the country to invest. So this is how he summed up in his briefing, of course, depicting a picture of the inflations will be up, the prices of food, of course, the lowest since 2002, but generally saying that inflation, despite the 1% increment that is supposed to be as expected, will be within the target range. That is what I was able to garner from the press conference. Abi.
All right, quite an in-depth update there, Abubakar. Many thanks for that report. Of course, we shall be having a more comprehensive update in our 9 p.m. bulletin. Well.